Hey, brother. Welcome to the Dirty and Driven podcast. My name is James DeVinny. I'm your host. This is the show where we bring people to the blue-collar world, teach them how to kick ass. Our mission here is to gain, train, and retain solid, hard-working people. Joined today by my co-host, who's going to do most of the talking because I can't. We're going to see how much talent he actually has. Casey D.
How are you?
Well, I feel fine, but my voice does not sound fine.
I'm working on something right now. It's a live work on something. I'm buying a 3-day trial for it.
What are you working on?
You're getting ready to find out.
I'm kind of terrified.
Allow access? Yes. Allow, okay, whatever.
Guys, if you're new here, this is the Dirty and Driven podcast. This is one of our Tuesday episodes. We got Tuesday episodes where it's me and Casey. Normally I sound normal, but today I sound like a kid going through puberty who chain smokes cigarettes. I guess it's allergy season or something. I don't know. And then we have our Friday shows where we interview people. This last Friday was one of just me. We didn't interview anybody, but it was a good episode. Got some good feedback from you guys about it, so appreciate everybody who reached out. Real quick, shout out to our girl, Reba Bush, $20 tip jar. Thank you. Also, we got a $100 tip from Housebird6. So I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you. And just thank you for your donation. Helps us out a lot. The tip jar helps us get more equipment. All that money goes back into this podcast, so that way we can keep doing better, getting better, and get better equipment, better production, vocal lessons, all that good stuff.
All right, James, if you would, just for a sec, keep quiet, and then I'm going to take over. James, you know who you sound like? You sound like Hulk Hogan. You sound like me, brother.
James, you know who you sound like Hulk Hogan. You sound like me, brother.
That doesn't sound like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, shit. I was trying to do a celebrity voice changer.
That didn't work very well.
To try to sound like...
That didn't work very well, brother.
Let me tell you something, brother.
I actually just listened to Hulk Hogan on Joe Rogan yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was good. A lot of good nuggets. And then, of course, I went down then it turned me into the rabbit hole of Hulk Hogan is an imposter, and a lot of the stories that he tells are proven lies and fakes. And Jim Cornette, one of the old-time promoters, was calling Hulk out on his BS, and, kind of like Hulk was probably there during 9/11 and, saved people, from the upper floors, whenever the planes, hit but, just it gets so outrageous on the lies that they start, or the shit that they call Hulk Hogan out on. But I'd like to think we all fib here and there.
Oh, I'm sure. And I mean, stories always get embellished, especially like you hear about the guys that were doing this stuff in the 70s and 80s. Dude, they all have the most badass stories. The guys that grew up in the 70s and 80s, they've got the wildest stories of anybody out there. I promise you.
Yeah.
How much of them are actually true? I don't know.
Yeah. But those guys are such good storytellers. I mean, obviously, everybody knows that I'm got a heavy fanfare for professional wrestling. But
yeah, you've got a heavy dick for professional wrestling.
Those guys are studs, man. I mean, badass athletes that literally take a pounding each and every night, but they got to learn how to play the crowd. You have good mic skills. I mean, if you want to get over and sell yourself, I mean, that's the same with any one of those professions, whether it's MMA, boxing. If you can sell yourself and make yourself valuable, man, that's where the bigger contracts and the bigger endorsements and the bigger money comes.
Yeah. Yep. So anyways, I guess now I'm just trying to talk like Hulk Hogan.
Nah, you don't sound like Hulk Hogan.
No, not at all. I sound, like I said, a kid going through puberty who chain smokes cigarettes.
So how do you think you lost your voice?
I don't know, man. So last Thursday, I was in here in the studio. I got sick last week over Labor Day.
Yeah, because we talked about it.
Yeah,
on
last show.
I'm still kind of getting over mine.
Yeah.
I still got just a little tickle in the old throat.
Yeah, last show I came in, I wasn't feeling great that day. I stayed in bed all of last Sunday, and then came in, recorded. That was about it. Woke up Tuesday, I felt mostly fine. A little drowsy, whatever. Wednesday, kind of the same. Thursday, felt fine all day. Normal, back 100% going, went to the gym, everything. And then I was in here in the studio that night, and I recorded that solo show by myself. And like during the show, I could kind of feel it tickling a little bit. Nothing crazy. Like it was just kind of like, yeah, there's a little tickle in my throat. And then Friday, I woke up and I was like, oh man, this isn't good at all. And then yesterday, I woke up and I was like, damn, I can't speak at all. And then we had a show last night. My band did. I did not sing backup vocals on anything.
So how did y'all do at Battle of the Bands?
You know, I'm a little pissed about that.
So
We got second.
that's first loser.
Yeah, it pissed me off, dude. So we go in there and you get 20 minutes to play or 15, 20 minutes to play. And then if you make it to the second round, you basically get 2 songs.
Right.
So the other 2 guys that made it were really good. I felt bad for the third place guys. Their singer left after their first round. So they were like more of a acoustic, folky. So they just went up there and played guitar, and their drummer was there. And they just...
Why did he leave? I mean, this is
I don't know.
Big opportunity.
They don't know. And she showed back up like after they were done. So I don't know. But they just went up there and they just finger picked some guitar and kind of very Allman Brothers sounding.
Right.
You know, it was cool. And then we go up there, we're rocking and rolling. And dude, like, I haven't heard our band that tight. Like, that was the tightest we've ever played. Put on a good show. It was really good. And the guy who won, and this is where, you know, it's like they don't have like trained judges and music. It's just like volunteers in their community, or because it was at an arts festival. You know, just one of those deals. And the kid who won was 21, and he just basically played Stevie Ray Vaughan, like just 12-bar blues. Just like you could listen to it all day. Right. Amazing guitar player. I'm not knocking him, but it was just like that's all he played for, you know, and like his finale, he didn't even sing. So it was like,
really?
Damn, why'd you win? Like,
was he by himself?
No, he had a bass player and a drummer.
All right.
But the drummer knew everybody. He's kind of a local legend type drummer. And the singer, like I said, the singer guitar player, like I said, he was a, 21-year-old who could just really shred the guitar.
Right.
So I think it was just one of those like, oh, well, he's just so young and he's just wow. And, that drummer, he's an ex-heroin addict and he cleaned up and he's still out here 70 years old. And so it was like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
They were good. I mean, I could listen to those guys all day long, but I didn't think they should have won a Battle of the Bands.
Well, hopefully, whenever you're put on trial and you have your judge and jury, you need to make sure that you have the right judge and jury whenever you're hoping to win the case.
I guess so.
Because there's politics is involved in everything, even at Battle of the Bands.
Well, what was funny about this is the amount of, I think there was 4 judges, and at least 3 of them came up to us after the show, and they're like, yeah, you guys really should have won. And I was like, you decided.
That's
it's like, what do you mean we should have won?
That shows the politics right there.
So it was like, whatever. But I will say, I'm not going to bitch about it too much just because it was a good opportunity. We made some good connections. So there was one guy there who was kind of the MC. He was like a comedian or something in the area. And he was pretty cool. So he's going to get us some shows. And he knows a lot of club owners and stuff. So excited about it.
Did you see that dog that bit me while you're in El Reno?
No, I didn't see any dogs, no.
That dog, even if it was 4 or 5 years old back in 97 or 98.
Yeah, I don't think that dog's still alive.
25. I'd make it 30 years. 30 years times about 7 human years. That's 210 years old.
He's just sitting there stewing, just like, oh, if that motherfucker comes back. Let's get that motherfucker back in here. He
probably smelled the old scent on you.
Oh, yeah. He knew it.
Yeah. So I think if you'd had them damn backup vocals, old James Devaney's backup vocals, I would have put y'all first place.
Probably would have hurt us. They probably
They probably had the mic still on. I heard you back there wheezing.
Yeah.
You sound like old Big Gulp Barry.
Dude, the worst was the drive home because it's a 2-hour drive from where we were at. And it was me and my singer were in the truck and we're talking. And he's like, oh, dude, let's stop at a bar. Let's do this. I was like, dude, I'm going home. I can't talk anymore. Like half that drive, I was quiet because I just like could not talk.
Your wife's probably getting along with you the best right now since you can't talk.
Yeah, I can't talk back.
Yeah, dude.
Probably good for my
It's a
relationship.
blessing.
No, that's kind of the screw little deal. Well, I mean, I say screw little deal. I haven't even hardly, obviously Victoria lives with me. We share the same bed. I don't think I've talked to her in like 3 days because she's been working. She works she gets up at 3:45 a.m. I typically get up at 5. So she's been getting up at 3:45 because it's turnaround. She's working 13 days on, 1 day off, and 13-hour days. So if I'm doing something after work or if I work late till 6, 7, if I'm not home, if I'm home before 8, I'll see her. If I'm not home before 8, she's already in bed. So it's I didn't see her like Friday, Saturday night.
And for anybody out there wondering, a turnaround like for the refinery, like we have here in Ponca, is whenever they shut down parts of the refinery, like big units, and do major overhauls. How many contractors are supposedly in town?
1,800.
Yeah.
It's the biggest one they've ever had here.
Yeah, 1,800 contractors, and if they, if their family comes with them, then obviously more. So
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
yep, they got the old refinery throttled back right now, so we're not producing as much as we normally do,
Yep.
but we're still moving product. So what happens is when we don't produce as much as we do, our other refineries a lot of times make up for what we're lacking, and they'll feed other areas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and ideally, it's still in-house product going instead of having a third party supply the people who need, diesel and gas and jet fuel and all that. So that's like we were supporting the Borger refinery up till probably about a month ago. We were making up for a lot of their deficit because they were shut down, and
really?
they still might be shut down for a turnaround. So we were providing a lot of the fuel that they weren't doing.
Huh. So does that make like fuel prices go up in the area? No.
Man, there's an involved deal about fuel prices, but
I know that those are kind of like more globally regulated than anything.
yeah, I mean, I don't know the particulars on it. It does not make for the layman like me. It doesn't make sense that we have a refinery here in town and we have gas stations within literally walking distance, and a lot of our gas a lot of times here in Ponca costs a lot more than places that are remote away that is cheaper. But there's some kind of, and I don't know if I can articulate that. I can't articulate anything well, but I'm going to try this to where
You can't even say the word articulate well.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's known that I, have a mush mouth, but it's to keep things consistent for the rural places that are far away from the refinery, that they don't get hosed on us selling cheap gas to where everybody comes here for cheap gas and then hurting them because no one goes there because their gas costs more to get it to their place.
Interesting.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like you go to like a big city and there's more, and I don't know if it's just volume or they have to be competitive with each other, so they have to slash it.
And then also, dude, like I said, I could be spitballing here, but also there's kind of like an alliance too, to where they all in the areas, if they might be within a cent or 2 or 3 of each other, but they all communicate that this is where we're gonna kind of keep the prices.
Yeah. Well, and I have a theory too, and it's just a theory. But like in construction, sometimes if you're trying to get out of your range a little bit, when you're in your, normal range inside your kind of zone, your area, your region, you maybe bump the prices up a little bit to make some money. So that way you can go to these further away jobs where you may have a competitor.
Yeah.
And I've had to do this several times. Whenever you have a competitor but you want that job, you'll mark a price up, maybe like whenever it's 2 miles from your office or your yard, that's actually bidding a higher unit price than say one that's 30 miles away because you need to make money on this one,
Yeah.
so you can bid this one a little tighter.
Well, the same kind of
The old robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of thing.
the same kind of psychology with give it away for a little bit cheaper now in hopes to get the big home run later. Not
Right.
the home run, but the bigger one.
Yeah, which gas prices, everybody wants to argue a different thing. Like, there's so many factors.
So many factors.
So many factors.
And still when, a lot of it's dependent on, whether we're self-sufficient here or if we're dependent on, the global market with Saudi Arabia and all those areas, or if we're blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. Well, no, we didn't. No, we didn't do that. Fuck, we didn't. Sorry. Did you get the big gulp, Barry?
Big Gulp Berry.
Or the big gulp, big gulp Barry reference. That's what they're calling Barack Obama now.
Oh, about the Nord Stream pipeline?
No, no, because there's a guy that came on Tucker Carlson the other day and said that him and Big Gulp Barry had a relationship back in 1999 and did crack together. And it was one of them relationships to where it was a male and male, and some people are calling Barry old Big Gulp Barry.
Interesting. I don't even know where to go from there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Your voice, I don't know. If Big Gulp Barry had a voice, it'd sound like your voice. That's why I was calling you Big Gulp Barry.
Oh.
Dude, you're setting yourself up for him, man. Come on.
Why, just by talking?
Yeah.
I do have to say, I guess last episode we said something that was a little offensive. And so I do want to address that.
I like finding out on air what we said.
Yeah, so I just want to, sometimes you push a line, right? Like, to be a good show, a good entertaining show, a comedian of sorts, there's a line. And the people that stay well within the line, they never, I don't know, it's just the comfort zone, you got to push that line. That's where you grow. Well, sometimes you make a joke or and we're laughing, but it might be at the fault of somebody else.
Oh yeah. The detriment.
And you know what they say, if both parties are not laughing, then it's not a joke.
Right.
So I have to take a moment and apologize to one of our biggest supporters who was offended by something we said, and that is Colton McCormack. I'm really sorry we made it sound like that you love Guns N' Roses. He
was offended by that?
He was very offended by that.
I thought
he came out of his way to let me know that was not
BS.
cool.
But he voted for Guns N' Roses though. Why would he?
No, he didn't. It was a lie.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he did.
No, dude, he hates Guns N' Roses.
All right.
I don't know why. I don't know if he went to one of those old shows where Axl Rose shows up 3 hours late and causes a riot, but
well, that's like Park hates Kenny Chesney, but he still voted for him.
well, he said that you voted for him.
And I'd like to also apologize to they say hindsight's 20/20. But after listening to our most recent one, dude, every podcast, like I said, we're 80/20, 80 lean and 20% fat. And there was some 20% fat on the last one. And one of them was the supposed Florida Georgia Line guy throwing the beer in the crowd. Or catching the beer.
Catching the beer.
That was throwing and chugging it. I misspoke on that. It was some foreign country singer. Not country singer, some foreign guy from a foreign country. I don't know if he is country singer, the one that caught it. But the person who had posted it whenever I originally saw it said it was Tyler. I guess the guy's name's Tyler from Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah.
That was the initial deal. And even if you go in the comments, it does kind of look like the dude from the back. So I made a mistake on that. And I made another mistake too, listening back. Whenever I talked about the NWO, whenever they came in the WCW back in the mid to late 90s.
We talk a lot about pro wrestling.
I know, but I'm correcting myself. I like to. It's
no,
a,
yeah.
It's
Keep
a
going.
disclosure
Yeah.
here.
I'm just saying it's funny
That I
how
made
much
a
we talk
mistake.
about that. I've never even watched an episode
Well,
of pro wrestling
I made
in
a
my
mistake
life.
that Hogan and all those guys that turned Hulk Hogan for years wore the red and yellow, and he was, you say your prayers and do your, eat your vitamins, do your
vitamins,
push-ups,
brother.
Yeah. Well, That's called a baby face. That's the baby face. And then that's the protagonist. Then the antagonist, because you have to have a good guy to back. The antagonist is called the heel, right? So you either say, for short, you call them faces for baby face or heel. I said that Hulk Hogan turned face. He was already a baby face. He was already a good guy. He turned heel. He turned bad guy. He pretty much rebranded himself.
Oh, yeah.
And when he rebranded himself, dude, he was... And a lot of those guys, professional wrestlers, I know we talk a lot about it, but they love being the heel. And they need a good dancing partner. They need a good guy to balance each other out. But they love being the heels because, you can get away with a lot more stuff. You don't have to be the fan favorite. You could be the butthole and get away with it.
Dude, that's one thing that it's like, sometimes people want fame and stuff, but like when all of a sudden you become a fan favorite, like as soon as you screw up, people are like, oh, I can't believe you. But whenever you're like the known bad guy, it's like, oh yeah, dude.
Do you think,
oh yeah, of course he got arrested.
Do you think it was a power move by Zach Bryan getting pulled
to get
over?
Arrested?
Yeah, I'm serious because
that
think
was
about
wild.
Think about like the timing with Trump. When Trump got arrested, then his mugshot came out. Now it's on everything. It's on cups, shirts. It's on banners. It's the biggest promotional thing in the world. You had Johnny Cash. You had ow, I feel good. James Brown.
Oh yeah.
All of these popular guys with their mugshots that are historical. Because the deal that Zach Bryan got arrested for, it was pretty weak. Even if
it was weak, but he was being a dumbass.
He was but it's almost. I like the Zach Bryan guy, but it's almost like he was wanting to get his mugshot for
an album cover.
Yeah, to be the bad boy, dude. He just released his new album. Ticketmaster that he was so against is taking over all of his stuff now.
Yeah.
And
I know. I just bought tickets to him last week, and I was like, "Damn, these are kind of high."
Yeah, and here he was, the anti-Ticketmaster guy, which I read comments on that too. They say that playing small venues is one thing, but when you get into big venues and big volume like that, you need a company literally like Ticketmaster to basically run the show.
Well, I'm sure that you have to have so much staff managing that. Or something of the sort. Like I'm sure it's just a lot to handle.
So supposedly,
like nobody else. Like I think if he could have stuck to his guns, more artists would have followed suit. But too many people were just too afraid to do it. Because if he wasn't the number one artist, he couldn't have gone up against Ticketmaster like that. Or one of the number.
Yeah, I heard a stat today. The guy shift change with at work, which he knows a lot about venues, especially over in Tulsa. In Tulsa, the big one over there is the BOK Center.
Right.
And he said that, because I talked to him about Zach Bryan this morning, and he said that Zach Bryan broke every single record from the BOK Center this last month or so when he was there. Wow. For the 2 nights that he was there. Not only the sellout, but the merch, the beer, and everything. And the records that he has broke, I guess, he compared it to, he broke George Strait's records.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
Big. Now, granted, it's Oklahoma, but that's how big and badass he's doing.
Yeah. Dude, but imagine that'd be so hard going from being just like a regular dude, just you're going out to bars, you're picking fights. Like I know a girl that is pretty good friends with him. She's like, yeah, he's just, always been a good old boy,
Yeah.
He'll run his mouth and get in fights, all that. And going from that to now all of a sudden you're the same person.
Yeah.
But you've got millions of people watching your every move.
Yeah.
So you're just getting frustrated about shit and you're just, whipping off like you normally would. But now it's like you're in the spotlight whipping off.
Dude. That was...
Because it was stupid. I watched the video and he was sitting there I was like, dude, just shut up. Like...
Yeah, so anybody, and I could get this wrong and correct me, but anybody who doesn't know, I know it's we're a lot of heavy music and whatever, but that's what we like. He was traveling, and the day before, didn't one of them get pulled over, him or his bodyguard get pulled over the day before?
He got pulled over like a couple days before.
Like the day before.
He wouldn't give him he wouldn't give the cop his address.
So the next day, the day of the arrest, he was following his bodyguard, I believe, was what the deal was. His bodyguard was driving. His bodyguard
was like following him. Yeah.
Okay, they were driving separate vehicles. Bodyguard got pulled over. I don't know what for. So he goes and pulls up where the Oklahoma Highway Patrol is. gets out of his vehicle, fires up a cigarette, and the OHP is like, "Hey, stand back, dude." You know that.
And he pulled up like right next to the car that was pulled over.
Well, pretty much, yeah. Hey, dude. Hey.
He said, "Get back in your truck." And
yeah,
he's
give
like,
us a room and stuff. And then just from what I saw, which it doesn't.
He literally said, "You can get back in your truck," because he kind of popped off like, "Oh, this is my security guard," blah blah blah, and he goes, "You can either get back in your truck or I'm going to take you to jail." And he said, "Let's do it. Let's go to jail."
Yeah. And it doesn't need context. I mean, I don't need to build this out. And I know we can talk about other stuff, but it was one of those, hey, you either get back in your vehicle or you're going to jail. And he volunteered to fucking go to jail. It's like, I'll go to jail. And I know the OHP was like, are you?
Well, dude, the OHP would have let him go because like afterwards he's like, "I'm sorry, I was just being a smart ass." And like, I think if he stopped right there, the OHP would have just been like, "Dude, get on the road."
Well, he might have, but I don't know how much more was involved in, because a lot of times.
Oh, I watched like an extended video, and he just kept like sitting there, like he's like, "That's my security guard. I'm Zach Bryan." And he's like, "I don't know who you are." And he goes, "I just sold out the." He's like, "I'm not trying to like sound like anything, but I just sold the BOK out like 2 nights in a row." It's just like, and he's like, "This is why like people have a bad name with cops, because you're doing shit like this. I had a bad interaction the other day, and now like I'm doing it again." Like he's like, "This is just kind of bullshit." Like, and the guy like kept telling him, he's like, "Look, let me finish this traffic citation." He was in the car at this point, handcuffed. He's like, "Let me finish the traffic citation, then you and I will talk. All right?" He said, "Just shut up until then." And he just kept running his mouth.
God damn.
And it was like, dude, like you watch and it's like, if you like think of it from a cop's perspective. From a cop's perspective, I'm going, yeah, I'm not actually going to arrest this kid. Just kind of scare factor him. Like, I don't want to deal with the paperwork.
Not a threat.
Just make him, because like he doesn't know. I'm like, for all he knows, this guy pulls up on this other car. He'd have a gun,
Exactly.
Shoot the cop. They take off. Like whatever. So like you have to understand that, but then it's like, dude, just shut up. But it's like, if I'm a cop and you keep running your mouth and keep going, it's like, okay, now we're going to go to jail because you want me to take you in.
Yeah, dude, even if you're in the clear, man. And I don't know why people at times have a lot of issues with cops. And I know which people I'm talking about. Just a lot of nefarious bad people, but dude, they got a job to do. And if you don't have anything to hide, nothing, and you want to get about your business, yes sir, no, hey, I'm sorry, man. You're right, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. And just that's it.
Dude, I've gotten pulled over 3 times in the last month.
Yeah, dude. So I'm thinking,
and I've gotten off pretty easily every time because I'm nice.
Yeah.
I got pulled over going 35 over the other day, and he didn't even write me a warning.
That's your privilege, man.
He gave me a
That's
courtesy
privilege right
warning.
there. Damn. Did you have your hair tucked up in your hat?
No.
I mean, you had the hippie hair down?
Well, I was leaving one of my job sites, and he was like, "You doing the road construction right here?" "Yes, sir." "You gonna be driving this road a lot?" Yeah. Yeah, I probably will be." "Yeah, well," he's like, "Pulled you over for your speed." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know you did." I said, "I didn't even realize I was going that fast. I was hauling the mail." And he was like, and he just immediately was like, "Oh shit." Like, "Okay, cool. You're like not going to argue with me or anything." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wasn't paying attention."
But dude, what is 35 over? What was the speed limit?
65.
You're going.
I was going down Highway 60.
So
I was going on like 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's 100.
I did not. Well, I was probably going 95.
30.
30 over.
Embellish.
Yeah.
Damn. You're a clout. You want to be like old Zach Bryan. You're probably wanting to get cuffed too. Huh?
Yeah, I was on that mug-shot for the Dirty and Driven.
Yeah. We're going to get them numbers up, man.
Well, we're getting ready to release our album, and even though it's not a solo album, and I'm not the front man or anything, but be a good or
publicity. At least inside cover, when they're doing the spotlight on each one of the players.
Yeah.
And what they ought to do is, instead of having you behind bars, they ought to have a pair of your white pants behind bars, like the mugshot, but your white skinny jeans.
Yeah. I wore those last night, man.
Did you take a razor blade and kind of cut them and fray them up a little bit more and make them look like they're worn?
I bought them like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Dude, it's funny to me how that's become like just a reoccurring thing that people hit me up and make fun of me for.
You're
It's
definitely.
nobody who's ever seen me wear them the 4 times I've ever worn them. But yet,
Do you
they just keep coming
French
back.
roll them?
I don't even know what that means.
Well, back in my day, son.
Oh, was that the where you tuck them and you roll them up a couple?
Yeah, a lot of times you wear
kinda over your
you wear
socks.
your old penny loafers, like I've talked about those before. But you'd take your bottom of your jeans, the cuffs, and you'd kind of fold them over like this to where it'd be real tight around your leg.
Yeah.
And then once it was real tight, then you would roll it up. Then you would roll it up 1, 2, or 3 times, depending on how high you want to go. I don't know if the French invented that. If it really kind of like if they invented fucking French fries, but they called them French rolling.
No, I don't do that.
And you'd French roll your Z Cavaricis or your Guesses, and I can't remember what the other ones were, but that was the popular pants. I never had those.
Yeah, I'm sure. You probably had parachute pants.
Dude, I had parachute pants in elementary school. I kept asking my stepmom, kept wanting parachute pants, kept wanting those, and I kept wanting a Coca-Cola shirt too. But never could get one. So finally my stepmom caved and got me a pair of parachute pants.
She wouldn't get you a Coca-Cola shirt, but she would buy you parachute pants?
Well, I ended up getting a Coca-Cola shirt too. It was like a red, white, and blue. But unfortunately, when it got washed, the red faded, or it bled into the white. So the white was like pink. So I fucked it up like on the first deal. But
stupid.
The parachute pants is like, whatever you do, don't run these, don't rip these. Well, sure enough, I was in gym class, and gym, you're sliding, diving for balls. And the very first time I wore those, because they're super duper thin, man, I ripped a hole in them. So yeah, dude, so much for the
I
parachute
don't even want to
pants.
hear it about my white jeans now. If you wore parachute pants,
Dude, that was in 3rd grade.
it doesn't matter.
I'm not a married
digging up your
man
past.
wearing parachute pants.
You should once we get the
Actually,
cameras rolling.
these True Work pants, I love them and stuff, but they're kind of parachute pants material, just a little thicker. I like them, but dude, whenever you sweat in these tan khaki ones, when you're sweating, the sweat goes right through to where from being tan khaki to black.
The old ball sweat.
Yeah, my old buddy Park.
And they say once you go black, it's hard to go back.
Park sent me a deal a couple times. He goes, "This reminds me of you and your sweaty ass." Anytime we play golf, and I wear like khaki shorts or khaki pants, dude. For one, it's hot and I sweat, but one of the first things that sweat is my old ass crack, dude. And dude, those pants, man, I'll go out there. It'll be like a nice dry looking, backside because I check out my backside, but boy, that down the old middle, man, it's nothing but swamp going on.
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, what do you do for that?
Wear different pants?
I'm going to start wearing dark colored pants.
Yeah.
Plus, it'll be thin and make me look skinnier.
Yeah. Yeah, the darker the clothes.
I have been playing a little bit more golf lately.
Oh, yeah?
Speaking of that, Park just texted me and he said his dad played the Cherokee Strip this weekend and he made a hole in one at the Cherokee Strip.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, dude. It's a big deal.
That's a big local golf tournament. It's a big one in the state. I mean, it's a big golf
what is the
tournament.
Cherokee Strip for? The golf tournament?
Isn't it Peachtree Landing?
Is it Habitat for Humanity or is it for?
I think it's Peachtree Landing.
No, now we're idiots.
Now we're
no,
idiots.
There's the Opportunity Center. It's one or the other.
It's a big fundraiser for a charity.
Yeah, for a good cause.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a big drunk fest too,
Dude.
and party fest.
Yeah. I didn't go. I've never been. Victoria volunteered at it last year. She was a bartender, actually. It was funny, though. So all these people, they really wanted Tito's. And that was like the drink was like Tito's.
And what is Tito's, James?
Tito's vodka.
Okay.
The Tito's vodka, Tito's with...
Not Tito Santana, the wrestler from the 80s?
No, I think like Tito's, soda water, limes, That's what people were drinking.
Yeah, Tito's and soda is what Bert Kreischer always drinks. Keep going.
So they ran out of Tito's, but like everybody kept asking for it. And so they took like the bottom shelf vodka that they had.
Oh, yeah.
And they put it in the Tito's
The old
bottle.
trick in the book.
And there were so many guys that would come up to Victoria and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, can I get it? Be sure it's Tito's. I don't want that other crap." And like he takes a sip and he goes, "Man," Tito's is just way better.
Yeah. So I got one just like that. You ready to hear it?
Yeah.
All right. So me and believe it or not, I think it was Old Park. We were in high school, and not high school. We were just in college. Well, I think we were like 19 or 20, had a fake ID, and we were making our run up to Ark City to get some 6 Point beer.
Yeah.
And because Oklahoma at the time, only had 3.2. Well, these kids that we were partying with, I say kids, they were younger. They were probably about 17 or 18. Oh, I meant they were 18.
They were definitely 18.
Yeah, they were definitely 18. Definitely 18. Didn't look. We ID'd them. But it was still illegal anyway. We went and bought them beer with a fake ID. Well, we let them know. We were out at Call Lake. We let them know that we were going up and we'd be back in about 2 hours. We're going to go get some 6 Point. Oh, dude, can you get us some 6 Point? Like, yeah, dude. Hey, so they gave us like $20. So we went up there. Well, we didn't end up going up there. We ended up just kind of driving around Ponca. So we went to the gas station because we were supposed to come back with 6 Point beer, right?
Yeah.
Well, we came back with just the old 3.2 stuff, which it's 3.2 maximum per volume. So really it's only like Coors Light. It was only like 2.8 or so. It wasn't even 3.2 total.
Yeah.
And so we came back with not the 6 Point stuff, but a 3.2. So it's kind of like the Tito's deal. So we gave it to them. And dude, it must have been the placebo effect because when they drank this stuff, it wasn't even 1 or 2 beers. Holy shit, man. This 6 Point is screwing us up. Holy crap. And it was like that cheap Tito's stuff that your wife, we were just laughing our asses off.
Yeah, dude, that's funny. It's kind of like there was this lady, I'll say this, and then I'll get on to our topic. I was at a friend of mine's wedding last year, and the husband's, or the groom's aunt was there. She just comes up, me and this other guy that I just met that day, but we became like best friends in that day kind of thing. My wife was in the wedding, so I wasn't sitting with her. Well, me and him, we're just chilling, and we like kind of walk up late. And so we just sit on the groom's side in the back row, just, hanging out. And his aunt comes up to us after. She goes, hey, I know most of his friends, and like, I know, all his family. She goes, I haven't seen you guys before. How are you guys related or, friends with him or whatever? And we were actually on the bride's side more than the groom's side. And he, but anyways, we just got talking. And she goes, yeah, the guy I was with, he worked in liquor distributions. And so he mentioned that to her, and she goes, so what's a good wine for like my book club or whatever? And he goes, dude, he's like, it's fucking women drinking wine. He goes, just buy cheap wine. She goes, well, they'll, say it's box wine or whatever. She's like, yeah, they'll turn their nose up. They're too good for that. And he goes, just buy one expensive bottle, drink it yourself, and pour the boxed wine in. And she's like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that to my friends and my daughter who took a wine class. Now she's a wine snob. So she did that.
Yeah, dude.
And she reported back to us a couple of weeks later, and she goes, dude, I did it to my daughter, and she thought it was some fancy thing, and she was trying to act all hoity-toity, oh, yeah, this is such good wine, blah, blah, blah. And finally, her mom breaks it to her. She goes, this is just cheap box wine.
Yeah, I mean, ain't that somehow, if it can be, something can be made for cheap, but if they stamp Louis Vuitton on it, or if they stamp pink, like the Victoria's Secret stuff. Yeah. If it's pink, it's 3 or 4 times as much, which it's the same slave shops making the shit, just embroidering the pink on it. And
that being said, I've seen girls wear shorts. Those, do you remember the old Juicy shorts?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen girls wear those, but I don't think it had the placebo effect.
That was good. That was a good attempt. Okay. Good attempt. I get you. I got you.
All right. Now we're gonna dive in our topic.
Wouldn't that be something though if it did work that way? If they did put on the old juicy pants.
Yeah, it just made it juicy.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about ass sweat.
Oh, okay.
No.
Swampy. Yeah, we got to make our own.
Okay, all right.
The pro and the con, instead of the juicy, we'll make the swampy. That'll be like the men's version of juice.
Oh, this is a terrible podcast today. All right, man.
That steam coming out, during the commercial.
Well, I'm throwing you a curveball.
Flies buzzing.
Since both of us have somewhere to be here pretty quick,
This is called the 15-minute topic.
Again, audibling our topic because the one we actually want to talk about and have set out to talk about the last 2 weeks is about timing, and we have not allowed enough time to talk about timing.
All right, let's do it.
So, well, we're going to do a different one.
All right, and remember on timing, if you're 15 minutes early, no matter what, you're on time. And if you're on time, you're late.
Motherfucker, you texted me that. You said 5:15, and then at 6:45 or 4:45, you said if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. So I get here at goddamn 5 o'clock, 5:05, and I was like, "Well, shoot, where's this truck at?" You know,
Dude, that was.
and then you were
that
like,
was-
"Be there at 5:30." I was like, "Bruh."
Dude, that was a strategic move. That was reverse psychology because you're known to be casually late. So I did that on purpose. And it worked to it. I ain't shitting you, dude. It worked to a T. I knew when I'd be here, but I knew if I said 5:30 for the podcast, and you'd be a 5:40 or 5:45er. So it worked.
No, I got a tight time one day. I came straight from band practice. Now I'm here, and I'm about to go pick my wife up.
You're supposed to
other
pick her
stuff.
up in 10 minutes.
Well, I'm going to leave here in 10 minutes to go pick her up.
Timing.
Timing. Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about other stuff. I think a fun one. So I've had a lot of people lately, whenever I go to give a bid, be like, "Why the fuck do you charge so much?" You ever get that?
Sometimes, but you just changed the topic on me midstream.
I just told you I'm throwing you a curveball.
Oh, well, I thought you were saying
I said we haven't allowed enough time to talk about timing, so I'm throwing you a curveball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've heard it.
Yeah, no.
I've heard
yeah.
it from you.
Okay. I'll win.
You get ready to hear it? 'Cause
I've
here,
never-
hold on, I'm sending that invoice over, right? And it's sent.
I have never.
Look at it. Look at it.
I have never complained
Look
about.
at it. Look at. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't send
I
shit.
was like, "There's no way you had that just drafted."
Speed dial. I
I
had that
have
motherfucker
never
on
complained
speed dial.
about. I've complained about how much other things cost that you're buying to put in my houses or something. Like I complained about how much a water heater was, but that wasn't your doing.
No, that was
I didn't
the man.
complain about how much the labor was. But no, dude, like
I didn't do a water heater, guys. I took it to the house and set it up for the plumber.
yeah, no, it's a rent house. It's legal. I own the house.
You have to physically be living in it, and then
It
only
was
you can
at
do it.
my personal house.
Yes, it was at your personal house. Is where it was at.
And I was the one who
Are you
installed
kidding
it.
me? They ain't licensed. How the fuck is you running around without a license?
Anyways, dude, I know that that's one thing that people like always say is like, "Well, how is it so expensive?" Like if I give somebody a bid for an asphalt driveway, they sit there and they go, like, even like a small one, like let's say it's a driveway the size of this room, like 10 foot wide by 12 foot long, like enough to basically park one car. And you sit here and you have to charge them like minimum. You just say, it'll be $2,500. And they go, well, fuck, that's way too much. It's like, what'd you expect? You're going to have 5 guys come out here, 2 to 3 pieces of equipment, and you're going to have to ship asphalt over in a truck,
Yeah, the logistics of it.
a minimum amount to
Yeah.
where it stays hot enough.
Yes.
Because if you you can't just ship 2-3 tons, you got to ship 4 or 5 to keep it hot enough to where you can actually work it. You got to do some prep work, get the dirt ready underneath or whatever. People, they say, why is it so much? Well, for one, there's a lot of people who want the same service, so supply and demand. 2, if you charge $500, you're making no money. If you're charging $1,000, you're making no money. You have your direct costs in, and then this is for people who either are, obviously, if you're a business owner, you understand this, but this is how I explain it to people whenever they say, why is it so much money? Well, all right, dude, for one, like, let's look at where the material's coming from. Is it coming from across the street? More than likely not. More than likely, there might be a stockpile, let's say a rock base. Well, that rock base came from a quarry, and you had to drive to the quarry. Let's say it's 20 miles away. You got to drive there, empty 20 miles, pick it up. Now you bring it to the customer's house. So even if it's $10 a ton for rock, and then you're hauling it, you got to pay the driver, you got to pay for the truck. And I don't know if you've priced out a truck or a new piece of equipment lately, but it's ridiculous. And not to mention, the knowledge of how to do the job. And there's other factors too, like keeping the lights on at the office. Overhead, you know,
Insurance.
cell phones, insurance. You know, there's a lot of stuff. And people, especially as contractors are getting, you know, we're starting to get affected by the fact that there's not enough skilled labor in the world. And I'm starting to see it get more and more prevalent. That's why I recorded that show I did on Friday. The bigger the gap we have in skilled labor, the more expensive stuff's going to get, because like a plumber, dude, I don't know any town where there's just 10 plumbers readily available. I don't know anywhere where you can get one plumber readily available. I mean, you call a plumber anywhere, they're 2-3 weeks out.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy. And then they want to charge a lot of money, probably too much money a lot of times. But if they've got big jobs that they can go do, and they have to pull off this big job where they're making tens or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on one job, and they're pulling off to come fix your kitchen sink.
Yep.
They've got to make it worth their time.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and it's nothing now for those skilled laborers like that to be able to charge $100 an hour. You know, 5, 10, especially 10 to 15 years ago, $100 an hour seemed like $1,000. It seemed out of this world, but $100 an hour now to take your vehicle to a mechanic to get worked on is about average. Yeah. $100 an hour is probably average or even kind of low for either an HVAC or a plumber or any of those skilled trades. Now, granted, that's just in the plumbing, HVAC, electrical world. I'm not talking about other stuff, but just the cost, everything's just went up, man.
Well, and think about the price of the tools, man. Like, think about a mechanic, because we got a lot of mechanic friends that listen to this show. These guys got 6 figures worth of tools.
Yep.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars of tools that they've collected over a big time span. Financed, bought, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of tools. And people want them to work for $20 an hour.
Yep. Well, the knowledge, and then the knowledge too. Obviously, you hire somebody. Hopefully, you hire somebody that has the knowledge to know where and what to do, when and how to do it, and do it efficiently, and do it to where it ain't going to fuck up, and warranty it, and all that giddy. Yeah. It's kind of like that old. I can't tell the story, but it's a deal to where, what was it? It was like we could say something. It was like it was a big barge that wasn't running, and the engine was down. These big engines were down on being able to make the barge run, and they tried, couldn't get this thing to go, and they really need to move this thing because they're losing money. Well, they finally get a hold of a guy, an old timer mechanic that, you know, has the skills and the knowledge. He goes up and he looks at it, he diagnoses it for about 30 or 40 minutes, and he ends up taking a hammer and going back to this one part on the old motor, and just doing the old dink, 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 kind of hitting it, and the fucker starts right up, and they start moving again, and they were elated. Dude, kick ass, man. You fixed it, dude. That's awesome. What's the bill? And he charges, let's say, just $40,000. Yeah. $40,000? How the hell can you charge $40,000? You were only here for 45 minutes. And it was something like, you know, $1 for the hammer or something. And then, you know, $39,999 for the knowledge on where to tap. You know what I mean? It's one of those... There's value in knowing what to do and guys coming and doing the shit. Instead of, if I tried to do asphalt work, I can maybe YouTube and stuff. And I can maybe level the ground and tamp it. And dude, it would take me probably a week or so by the time I maybe got the right tools in my trailer and went and hauled rock. And then it still wouldn't be as good as the guys with the equipment that could show up and knock it out in probably 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, asphalt's not DIY. A lot of times concrete's not either. Just saying.
Yeah, mix your own asphalt. Yeah. Are there asphalt mixers you can rent?
Probably. I mean, not
I've never heard
really.
of that.
I mean, you'd have to get the oil.
Yeah.
And they don't just sell that.
Yeah, and you have to heat
I mean,
it.
you could get cold mix asphalt, or you could buy asphalt from a plant, but you know, you can't. I've never seen anybody do asphalt on their own and it look good.
But yeah. So to your point about the costs.
Yeah, I mean, the tools and the knowledge is worth a lot. I mean, think about just a handyman. If you have a handyman who kind of knows what he's doing and he does good quality work, you know, it's worth to pay a little bit more. I mean, one, availability is worth a lot of money. Trustworthy is worth a lot of money. But also, when you're in that position, like a plumber or an electrician, like let's say an electrician shows up because your breaker went off and you have no idea how breakers work. And you go and he shows up and all he does is just flip your breaker back on and he gives you a bill for $200. $200 service charge. That kind of sucks. I mean, I get that that's their policy, but a lot of times, you know, it's, or even more, like they show up and it's like, you know, here's a $500 bill for me flipping your breaker back on. Like, there's times where I feel like, I mean, I get that you drive across town, and I tell people this too. I'm like, well, you know, they may have been at your house for 30 minutes total, but they left the yard. They made sure they had all the tools and equipment that they needed. They drove to your place with all the tools and equipment they need. It was a 30-minute drive one way, let's say, and 30 minutes back. So now you're looking at 2 hours out of the day just to come here.
Yeah.
You know, so again, you've got hundreds of other people who don't have power. They don't have heat and air. They don't have plumbing. And you had to come, and now you can't do 3 of those jobs because you came to this one. Yeah, I mean, you got to make it worth your time. Yeah. I think that a lot of people do take advantage of situations of being the only competition or the only person who can get there right now. But that's a fine line, I guess, morally you have to tell.
But there's value in that too. I've told you that before about an idea of mine, and who knows, I still might do it, but there's value in an emergency repair company. Something that's basic, whether you had, you know, you can get your licensed guys to do licensed stuff, but I'm just talking about an emergency repair. There's value in, dude, shit, water's leaking everywhere. I can't get a hold of, there's value in being able to pick up the phone and somebody on their way right now, they go and they shut off the meter if they're allowed to shut off the meter, whether it's to the gas or breaker. There's value in being able to drop everything and be there right then and there.
Just Band-Aid something. Just Band-Aid something.
Yeah, just it's called mitigating damages. You know, there's value in that. No, we only charge. Okay, I mean, if you only want to charge that, but so looking at pricing yourself too, the people that are charging a lot, like an ass load, $400 or $500 to flip a fucking breaker. You know what I mean? For you know, literally flip a breaker, 30 minutes. You know, or let's say they have 2 hours. Still, that's ridiculous. You know, there's only going to be so many times they can do that till they price themselves out of the market, right? But the market dictates on what you can charge. Yeah. So the kicker is, you can charge less and get a lot of these less value jobs, or you can get into a market like in a good neighborhood to where people are willing to pay more. You can charge more for your services. Now you got high-end clientele to where you're making damn good money. Yeah. Let's say you get to, it's a point of diminishing returns. Let's say you get to a point to where you're charging too much and you start losing work. Well, why the fuck am I losing work? Well, goddamn, dude, you're charging $200 an hour to do this. So that's when you need to adjust your prices, get back down a little bit, start getting more work. And I mean, the market dictates on what you can charge. So the same, I'm pointing at you, but the same deal with what do you charge? Dude, one thing that baffles me all the time is people that get on Facebook or any other sites and they say, I need an electrician as soon as possible. I need a real good electrician that's cheap, but cheap, but is really good. Well, dude, you can't have a both. Dude, you can't. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. You don't want it. Plus, you don't want a cheap electrician, or you don't want a cheap guy like that doing your shit. So
cheap usually ends up being more expensive.
So the market dictates it. So if you're going around there charging an ass load, good for you. Good that you're literally like raping people on prices. But word's going to get around, and you're going to start losing work. Yeah, and you're going to have to adjust.
I want to say this, and we got to wrap it up because I got to go. To all the heavy equipment guys out there, one thing that bothers me is when, especially because these mom and pop guys, and these are the guys that go out of business pretty quick. They go and they bid work for dirt cheap because they don't factor in their costs. So you have to know your costs to be able to say your pricing, because you have to be able to make money. People. Like, construction usually doesn't have that big of markup. It's just expensive because there's so much tools, equipment, knowledge. You got to pay your people a lot of money to keep them around now. There's a lot that goes into your pricing, but like a lot of heavy equipment guys, they just say, oh, okay, well, I use this much fuel per day. I need to charge for this much fuel. I already own the machine. I've made the payments on it, but they don't factor in insurance. They don't factor in, certain aspects like oil, maintenance, filters. They don't factor all that stuff in or like moving it down the road, to the job site. They don't factor a lot of that stuff in. And so they basically just charge for fuel and labor, and that's it. And those guys end up going out of business because they don't know their cost. They don't calc them properly. And they don't charge enough to have some cushion for when things break.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was our brief topic today, guys. This was a different show. It was very painful for me to talk.
I was impressed that you got through it. I thought it was going to be.
I'm very much ready to stop talking.
It limited you on your rants, though.
I can't rant right now.
Damn. Maybe I need to have like a little elixir, a little something I can like inject you with, like when you start to go on a rant, and it'll just limit you to this, man. This is pretty sweet.
You like this? You and my wife both.
Yeah, dude.
I talk like that.
And
if anybody thinks that that's like a show for the podcast, you can ask my wife. That's just me, man. I just go on rants about shit all the time. Just about personal development and stuff. Like we'll be going down the truck and I'm like, this is what's fucked up in the world, and then we just like, and she just sits there and listens to me rant for a while.
If anybody likes this new shorter ranting version of James, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let us know.
Drop $1 in the tip jar.
Yeah, just the tip.
Just the tip. You can see that in the show notes. If you do like the show, we do appreciate getting $1 in the tip jar. You can put as little or as much as you want there. You can put nothing in. You can put $1 in, $5
Speaking
in,
of
$100
a big
in.
tipper, we had a big baller.
Yeah, I said it earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had something in this ear right here. That's that one gurgling.
Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all listening. Hopefully next week I won't sound like this. What? Casey's pointing at me. Oh, you want me to say the sign out?
Yeah.
Guys, brothers, do something hard today.
By God.